Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Arden's Chats. So, you guys know this is a show where I talk to other cool business owners all across the country, all across the world, who are impacting lives through their mission and through their story. And I love that we get to do this, as Definita is about defining you in a cluttered marketplace, and Arden is about talking as much as she possibly can. This works perfectly for Arden's chat. So today we have Julie DeLucca-Collins. She owns Go Confidently You Services. I met her because I'm actually going to be speaking at her Purposeful You conference. And when we were doing our intake call with speaking, I was like, dude, this is so cool. We have to talk about this more and come on my show. And let's just hear about what you're doing. So, Julie, tell me all the things.
Okay. Arden, thank you for having me. I have to tell you, I speak to a lot of people every day, but I really, really jived with you when we first talked. You
I know.
you're doing some amazing and really cool stuff in the
Thank
world,
you.
and you're
Thank
a
you.
perfect fit for my Purposeful You panel. And this came about because I've been doing some research. I have a radio show, and
Mhm.
over the course of the last year, I've been doing some research for my upcoming book. And I thought, I'm just in awe of the commonalities that we all have when we're in this space of helping others. And one of the
Mhm.
things is that before we launch our business, we do the thing and we're kind of in that mode. There
Mhm.
is always that moment in which we have a desire or a little seed in our heart, and we're like, I really would like to do this, or I'm really good at this, or I really want to help these people,
Mhm.
or this is the impact I want to create.
Mhm.
And then we start doing it, and then we realize this is my jam. This
Mm.
is it. Oh my gosh, I'm so meant to be doing this. Um,
Yes.
and I know that that's happened to me, and it's happened to so many other individuals. Yet there are so many others that are sort of floating along in this ocean of life, and they're
Mhm.
not necessarily clear on what their purpose is, or they have
Mm.
that little seed and they're sort of like, oh, I don't see you because I have this full-time job and it's comfortable, even though
Mhm.
I would love to do that. Or they're saying to themselves, who am I to think I could do that?
Ooh, let's
Yeah.
start. Like, who am I
Who am
to
I?
think I can do that?
Yeah.
Because
And
what you
by the
said,
way, I've been there in all of
yeah.
these little scenarios. There's been a piece of that all in me.
Because you said a minute ago, like literally a minute ago, you were like, when you finally get in that, you're like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But
Yeah.
let's talk for just a second about the jump between who am
Hmm.
I to think I can do that? And oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Because this stuff, for those of
Hmm.
you listening, I'm doing my
Yes.
hands back and forth between a
Yes.
gap. But it's the stuff in the middle
Hmm.
that it clogs us up. And
Absolutely.
in the Christian world, we call it spiritual warfare. I'm sure in
Yeah.
spiritual worlds, they call it clogs or whatever it is, mental blocks. Stuff
Yeah.
happens, right?
Absolutely. We're either defined by somebody else's expectations or by the quote unquote shoulds that we keep
Ooh.
shoulding ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that definitely keeps us stuck, and it keeps us in this mode. It's interesting you brought up spiritual warfare. I yesterday, my memories, you know how they come up in pictures for Facebook or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. One of the pictures that came up is a picture of the first day that I arrived in Haiti for a mission trip. And we were helping this community. Um, and it was the second time that I'd been there.
Mm-hmm.
We were helping the children's ministry, and all of the moms and people from the community were there. And it was just such a powerful moment. The picture just took me back. And I remember I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed
Mm,
and not necessarily be a missionary, but giving,
yeah.
serving, doing for others. And I know that back in high school, right? I
Hmm.
thought, "Oh, I'm gonna just give to the world." And not to say that I haven't and there's no generosity or helping, volunteering, because there has. That's part of who I am. But
Yeah.
that full-time go in and just serve and do and give and use my gifts, by the way, because I've been given some gifts and
Right.
not uh allowing them to flourish is a disservice not to ourselves but to others, and that's really important.
Yes, I saw this thing yesterday. So today is August 2nd when we're doing the recording. It was August 1st. And it's this woman that works with, she used to work with a ministry in Nashville, but she is really leaning into female entrepreneurs. And she said, and there's a big thing within the Christian world, I would guarantee you it's within other spiritual worlds too, where we talk about humility, right?
Mm.
All across the board humility. But what she said was so powerful, and it'll get into your conference as well, is by not sharing your story, you are letting the devil win. Like you are letting
100%.
evil win. And
Yeah.
there are so many Christian, well, they are Christians, but they're out there like, stop bragging about everything that you do. And I
Uh-huh.
can be one. And I'm like, because I'll go, dude, not everyone is winning, right? Like
Yeah.
God is not blessing
Yeah.
everyone all the time. Or the further along you are in your spiritual journey, we
Right.
all start to face things. I think
Agreed.
newbies get a lot more blessings, truthfully, than oldies
Mhm.
at sometimes.
Absolutely.
But by keeping your mouth shut and saying, well, I don't want to brag,
Right, right.
that's
Absolutely.
not what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like you just
No.
said, you could have said, "Oh, I went to Haiti," but you're like, "No, I was in Haiti on a mission trip, and that's so cool, and we want to learn more about that." And you're living in your
Mhm.
purpose. So,
Yeah.
what does purpose mean for you with this conference that we're going to be talking about?
Yeah. So for me, living in my purpose is really helping to amplify the voices of other incredible individuals who are out there who can then
Mm,
empower others. Because
yeah.
by the way, I'm a coach. I work with business owners, with women entrepreneurs mainly,
Okay.
but maybe I'm not the right coach for everyone,
Right.
but other people are. And
Mm,
if I have a platform, I want to share that because the person sitting maybe in their cubicle and that they have this really big dream and they're second guessing, they're in that, um, looking at that messy middle that looks very scary. And by the way, it's not easy. I'm not going to tell you and sugarcoat and say, oh, take the leap. It's so fun. And it is, but it's hard. And you have to be willing to do the work.
so hard. Like,
Yeah, you have to be willing to do the work. But the great thing is, and not but, and people come alongside of you and
hmm
help you, support you, encourage you, inspire you. And what I'm hoping to do is showcase the incredible people who have done it, right?
hmm
Sat in that little place and said, I'm going to take the leap, or are really entrenched in making sure that others come alongside of them and also take the leap, and that's really important to me. So I wanted to, because of the book, I wanted
yeah.
to I highlight these incredible stories. So I put together 8 different panels,
Yes.
and I my husband and I were talking about this because he's my little no sidekick in the business. Not sidekick, he partially owns the business. And he's the producer of my podcast, etc. He
hmm
does a lot of things. So he's like, how did you come up with these names? And I said, I'd like to say that I just had a stroke of genius, but I didn't. I actually asked everyone prior to participating if they were interested to kind of share a little bit about their story of
hmm
finding their purpose, going confidently, using your
hmm
purpose, whatever it is. And I saw that there were some really common themes
Mm.
among what people had said.
Okay.
So that's how I came up with the name of the panels because I thought that these are the more common ways in which people go through this whole topic of purpose.
Okay.
And for me, I wanted to give kind of light to others, right? Because and normalize that, hey, it's not easy. Yes, it requires some commitment, but
Hmm.
more importantly, you can do it. And you can do it because if I did it, right, you can do it. So
Right.
that's how I came up with the 8 different panels. And I'm really excited to hear what people have to share because they're going to infuse their own personality. They're going
Yep.
to infuse their own stories
Hmm.
and really give their perspective and really equip others as they're coming behind them.
So, two things. Well,
Mhm.
one, if you'll briefly, or not briefly, give me the name of the panels,
Yes.
and then we're going to tell people how to, when they can access it and how to sign up for it and all that. But first, what are the name of the panels?
Okay. So, number one, and this is the first thing that I think people question or ask is lessons in finding your purpose.
Ooh.
And I have to tell you, the funny thing is, this panel is made up of mostly people who work with me. And I don't know how that worked out because they weren't the first ones to sign up for the summit,
Yeah.
but they picked that. And every single individual in this panel is incredible in their own right, but they
Hmm.
did. It took them some time to find their purpose, kind of get that sweet spot, get into the flow, and figure out how they can go out. And they run the gamut, right? They're not all
Hmm.
coaches. I have one particular individual here who is a teacher still, has been a teacher for many years, but she started to create a product, and she created this product a few years ago because as teachers, sometimes money is an issue, and the holidays were coming, and she saw that she had more month than money and started to create
Yeah.
this product that, by the way, teaches others about her culture. She is of Puerto Rican descent,
Hmm.
but then now has grown her offers. And now she's a speaker to inspire others who might be in the same spot and are thinking like, I could never do that. And say, if I did it and I'm a teacher and I can do this, and I'm actually creating a product that is being shipped all over the world, you can do
Hmm.
it. So
Yeah.
these are the lessons, and she's going to share along with some of the others. The
Okay.
other panels are your past does not define you. And again,
Hmm.
this is something that a lot of people tend to think, oh, I fill in the blank, right? And that's why I'm not qualified.
Mm.
But we know, and again, I'm a person of faith. A lot of people, have heard the phrase that, God qualifies you.
Yes.
And take a leap of faith to know that your past does not define you. It's not like you're showing up, here's my resume, that's why I can join the party. No, you're joining the party because you have been invited.
Mm.
You've been invited.
You've been invited.
Um,
I love that.
yeah. Finding healing and empowering others to thrive. I think that again, there's a lot of people who've had different experiences that require healing, require a lot of introspection.
Hmm.
And when you heal yourself, you are then able to point the light and give others tools that say, hey, I've been there, and normalizing that, hey, I went through that.
Yeah.
And it's important to know that there is healing, but more importantly, we can thrive after that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Using your purpose to rebuild your life. Again, some people find their purpose and begin a brand new life, pivot for something else.
Yeah.
So that can be your purpose can be the catalyst or the creator of the new bricks that are going to build your new life.
Mm.
So,
Creator of the new bricks. I like that.
yeah. And this is your panel, which I'm super
Mhm.
excited. This is one of my favorite. Hope floats above hardships. And I think that, again, hope is one of these things that people underestimate. But once you
Mhm.
really embrace hope, It's that catalyst that helps you float among. If you're stuck in the muck, it allows you to pull out and allows you to kind of keep your head above water. So
Yeah.
I love that. And then finding the silver lining, because by the way, even though we might be in a tough situation and maybe you're going through an illness, maybe you are dealing with parents who have dementia, or you have a sick child, or your husband lost their job, whatever it might be, there's a silver lining in
Yes.
everything that is happening. And it's important for us to really identify that.
Hmm.
Last but not least, the last two panels are unlocking your purpose and helping others in one life to live. So those are the panels. And I am incredibly honored, number one, that so many people have chosen to raise their hand and to say, I'm in. I want to participate.
Yeah.
Let me be counted, because I think that that's one of the most important things is being able to share our gifts with others.
It really is. And guys, I wanted you to, all these speakers, we're just doing it. We're doing it as we believe in this mission. And we also, obviously, as speakers, you want to be practicing your craft. I think I've told y'all I'm doing a book on grief. So, and what does it look like when the
I'm
happiest person
excited.
in the room is grieving?
Mhm.
And that's going to be a big one. That's
That's
me. That's me
huge.
putting some stuff out there. So, I'd love to our conversation that really sparked this was, what does grief look like these days, right?
Mm,
I know one of it is with business owners, especially, it shows up in your business in the most interesting ways. For
mm,
me, it was very much, I was just tired all the time. So I
yes.
was barely getting by, like I was getting my work done, but also not going after anything new. And it's shown up this year,
Yeah.
which is not a great year for it to show up. And you have to start going, okay, I am grieving this, but how do I also stay here? So that's what I
Mhm.
like about this conference, is going to be able to, I think, the way even when we were talking about it, almost cross promote, right?
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
I'm going through grief,
Yep.
but I can go and listen to someone teach about silver lining, or
Mhm.
I don't even know my purpose yet. And once I do, I can go and like, how do I then come back? Because the other thing is, this is an audio conference, right?
Yes, and this is one of the reasons that, I am excited for this, because how many times, by the way, and I'm raising my hand, I've done it several times. I sign up for these amazing summits that people put on, and I've attended some great ones, but as I sign up, then maybe this meeting pops up or I forget, and then I get the replays and I never get to do it because I want to watch the videos. And yes,
Mm,
by the way, I'm going to have videos available for, because the teacher in me wants to go ahead and hit the different learning modalities. And some people
absolutely.
are auditory, some people are visual learners. So yes, those will be available. However, I want people to be able to listen on the go. And what I envision is that the individuals who participate, who sign up, it's a lot of content we're going to be giving you. And I
Hmm.
don't expect you to listen to it all at one time. You can if you want, but this is the thing that maybe you go to the gym and you're wondering about, oh, there's a silver lining in this situation, this hardship that I'm going through. Then you can go and tune into that panel.
Hmm.
Or there is, something that is really um tugging at your heart, you're ready to take the leap, but you need that inspiration from somebody that's going to show you, like, yes, I did it, you can too.
Yeah.
So it is an audio summit. I am incredibly fortunate that I have a relationship with a global radio network. I've had a show on the radio network
Okay.
for over a year now.
Hmm.
Actually, August 1st was my anniversary. So that's
Oh, happy
exciting.
anniversary.
Yay, and they're giving me, number 1, it's gonna air on the radio show. It's gonna
Hmm.
air in their content, and it's so fun because people from all over the world, get to listen, and there's individuals that tune in through local radio stations or on the internet or on Alexa.
Hmm.
There's a wide range of audience members that will be out there. So
Hmm.
that's number 1. Number 2, I am also putting this on my private podcast feed. So
Okay.
if you sign up, then you will have access to it forever.
Yeah.
And again, I want you to have this inspiration and take these incredible mentors and friends and inspirational individuals in your pocket and take them with you. Go on a ride, go for a drive, and you can tune in at your leisure. I have to tell you, there's a conference that I attended at the beginning of the pandemic, and it had all of these big names. I still have the recordings, and every once in a while, I will go in and check out what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and I get re-inspired. And it's been 3 years, and yes, it was the beginning of the pandemic, but the message for some of them is still the same. The lessons are incredible and super motivating.
I love that. And it's almost like having a mastermind in your pocket. The more
Mhm.
I think about it, and because we as business owners, guys, when you're doing this, or if you're not a business owner, you're
Yeah.
simply, you listen to this because you love to learn cool things, or you've got an idea, or, the thing is, I guarantee you, you could be a retailer at a local department store and you want to grow, right?
Yeah.
They could call you and let's get some coaching about it's confidence.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
confidence, tell me what your definition of confidence is. I would be curious to hear this. I think the
Ooh.
audience needs to know that.
Okay. So people ask me this, and this is my favorite question to answer. I tell you, I started my business because confidence is not a feeling. Confidence
Okay.
is not something that you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm so confident I can do that. Or I've always been confident. I know that there is a level that I am a firstborn. So I tend to, and I'm very extroverted. So there is a
Okay.
level there. But confidence for me is facing the fear or facing the unknown, facing the uncertainty, and still taking a step forward and being brave.
Mm,
Despite what your brain is saying, oh, you can't do that. You're not good enough. And by the way, we're not going to all of a sudden take a step and be like, "Oh, I got this. I'm confident." No, it's about continuing to practice, continuing to build the
yeah.
evidence that you are capable. And once we continue to build this evidence, then we're going to say, "Oh, I got this. I can do it." And
Hmm.
that's how confidence comes. That's
Yeah.
how confidence is created. But it's such a misconception that we've got it, that you either build confidence or you don't have it, and you need to just make it, fake it till you make it. You're not faking it, you're actually doing it. You're
Right.
doing the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what confidence is for me. I like to, share the example. When my dad went into hospice, and I was with him at the hospital for the last few days of his life. And it was 2 weeks and we were together, and I was scared out of my mind. I was incredibly afraid of what was to come. I've never been with someone as they were transitioning out of this world.
Hmm.
And yes, I have my faith, and my dad had his faith that we would see each other again. But I did not feel confident I could handle it. But I showed
Yeah.
up. I
Yeah.
showed up. I was there despite the fear, despite the pain, despite everything. And the same thing, in my career, the moments in which I don't know how I was going to do something. I remember getting promoted to VP, and I'm like, what does a VP do? I don't know. Like, okay, here we go. Let's
Yeah.
just do it and do the work. And then, oh, this is what I do. Okay, not so different from before, but I'm using my gifts. And okay, I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's the confidence that we're building, and that's the level of confidence I wanna share and help others get.
It is interesting because confidence looks different for everyone. And a
Mhm.
lot of times you're taking those steps forward. And the more you start to do it, the more you can look back and go, okay, I did it that time, or it worked out this time. And just
Yeah,
continually saying those words of it's going to work out. I don't know what it's going to look
yeah,
like. But if I don't work, if I don't move forward, I'm staying still. And
absolutely.
staying still is exhausting. It's
Yeah.
and it catches up with you at some point in time. It just does. And I think this is why it's really good and beneficial to also sign up for programs like this. Sign up for, okay, I don't know if I'm going to need this purpose yet, or I'm trying to figure out my purpose. But even if one person in that panel or in all those panels can help me, I think it's going to be really beneficial. Don't you?
Absolutely. And again, sometimes all it takes is one seed to be planted.
Mm,
And you
isn't that
never
true?
know, you never know when that one person will say the thing that you need to hear at the right time. And this is why I'm making it um available for
Mhm.
individuals. Now, one of the things, the summit is free. I wanted to make all of this content available for individuals. However, there is an option for people to come and have a little further hangout and ask questions and
Okay.
get some FaceTime with the speakers.
Hmm.
So that is the VIP option. But not only do you get to pick their brain, ask questions, hang out, soaking the greatness from these individuals. The other thing that you're going to get is you're going to be able to um, get a virtual swag bag from all of these really cool people that they're so graciously and generously shared with us. So that's another reason maybe you want to get a VIP, because also the videos will be available throughout the weekend or for the first week, but the videos are going to go away and
Okay.
only the VIP members are going to get the videos in evergreen format.
Perfect. So when can they buy tickets?
Tickets are available now. Now, Arden, I think you have your own personalized link.
I do. I'll put that in the
However,
show notes. Yep.
if for some reason you forget it,
Yep.
you can just do bit.ly / purposeful you 2023. And
Yeah.
then if you tell me Arliss, sent you, you found this through Arliss, I will, make sure that we celebrate Arliss for having it, because I'm a little competitive, so I'm trying to see who is like the person that's promoting the most. Because I have a couple gifts that I'm gonna share with the speakers, but as a thank you, I
Yeah.
definitely want to make sure that I thank people properly for getting the word out.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, part of it is for me, I mean, guys, even like, you'll know I do PR all the time. One of the things that I do walking in your purpose, a lot of times what happens is when you're doing your purpose, the other work doesn't get done. So
Yeah.
I will, one of the things I'm trying to take the time to do is taking half a day. I used to not be able to do this. I used to say, no, you have to work your business every day, which you do, but sometimes it's overwhelming. So Wednesdays are
Yes.
my day to just go, this is Stefanita's time. Arden, you spend time with Stefanita. And if somebody
Mm.
really, really needs you, they'll figure it out. But I am tend to be my tiredest on this day, so I'm not as creative. So this is
Mhm.
why I like to record on this day, and this is where I get infused with other people's energy. So that's the other thing, is like the more you walk in your purpose, the more
Mhm.
confident you are in who you are, you can start to figure out,
Mhm.
okay, this is when I'm best. This is
Yeah.
I and this is when I don't feel comfortable billing people when I'm not at my best. I just don't.
Mm.
Sometimes you just have to do it, but other times I'm like, I don't know if
Mm,
you're
I
getting
know.
the like 150,
I know.
$200 worth an hour work for me right now. And so that's not fair.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that. I have to say that I'm a big proponent of creating that intentional margin for yourself.
yeah.
And as business owners, it's so important to define that,
Mhm.
because number one, yes, you're not giving the best to everybody else, but you're also not giving the best to you.
Mhm.
And you end up resenting what you do. And the
Yeah.
reason you started your own business as a business owner is to have more freedom. Stop
Yeah.
working the 24/7. And hey, I am reiterating this message to myself because I love what I do. Art
Mhm.
and when I love things, I am all in. And I have to remind my husband actually has a sign in at the door that says no drinking during office hours.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like I have to remember that at 6 o'clock, and I've created a little appointment for our family that at
Hmm.
6 p.m. I get the reminder in my calendar, hey, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Let's stop working.
Uh-huh.
I don't work Friday afternoons for the most part.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's summertime. I want to be outside in the sunlight. I live in Connecticut. It's going to get really dark at 3:30 in November. So
Oh God.
I
Yeah,
need
you
to be
better.
outside and
Yeah.
soak up the rays. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So when is the actual conference?
Okay, so we are going to drop the conference on August 25th, and it's going to
Okay.
drop at noon. And once people register, they're going to get a link that takes them to the multiple places where they're going to be able to tune in. They
Okay.
can tune in on, like I said, the Private Member podcast or the radio show. The radio show is going to drop at noon.
Okay.
So if you want to tune in using the radio show app, then you can do that, or you can tune in
Hmm.
Alexa. And again, we'll have all that information. Or you can go to YouTube if you want to watch the videos. But all of that will be available. I'm in the process of working something else out that it might be streaming on Roku.
Okay.
And I don't have particulars or have ironed that 100%. But if it does, when it does, we will share that information with everybody.
Okay. Perfect. So we
Yeah,
have an addendum, whatever. I'll send it out in my email list. I'll
perfect.
post it for everyone here, but I'm going to post this fairly soon so that people
Yay.
can go ahead and start registering. And thanks for having me. How can they find you, Julie?
Okay, well, thank you for having me. This has just been a fun conversation.
It has.
You can find me on all of the socials. I'm Julie DeLucca-Collins. If you go to
Okay.
my website, goconfidentlycoaching.com. You can also find the link to the conference on the website.
Perfect. All right, guys, and I'm Arden McLaughlin. I help you define yourself in a cluttered marketplace. I really specialize in startups and people looking to scale who really need that mission, vision, position. You need to know what your brand story is so that
Mm,
you can grow
so good.
effectively. You need to know what you can say yes to and what you should say no to. And your story helps
Mm.
you figure that out. So you can find both of us in the show notes. And I am so excited. Go be awesome today. Go
I
confidently.
know. Go confidently, everybody. I hope that you enjoy your day. And thank you again for having me. This was really fun.
Thanks. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.